And the catnip has come back to life on the back porch here. And here's a bunch of seedlings started on the back porch. I got more started in the kitchen. I started my tomatoes early, and sadly, out of the 12 that came up, only these 3 survived since I transplanted them. These are beefsteaks, and I don't know if they're going to get strong enough to go out in the garden next month. We'll see. So I started a couple more pots. We'll see what happens here. I might end up having to buy some seedlings. These are the seedlings that I start in the kitchen window. They're right above a cast iron radiator, but I haven't been turning on the heat too much. So we'll see what germinates. And then over here on my kitchen table, I have a little arrangement that I picked of daffodils, a couple hyacinths, and some cherry blossoms. So as you come out the back door, to the right, I have this trellis, which I planted all my little sweet peas. Those I just planted the other day, so they're not up yet. And over here in front of the wood pile, I have a bunch of pots. And this first one is some delphinium, I believe, that I started last year. Just coming up. I brought out my fig tree, and if you look really close here, it's got some buds on it, so it's starting to come back to life. And then this was a pot of red-veined sorrel and basil, and the basil's done from last year. It shouldn't come back, but you never know. And then that is garlic chives. And then it's lupine that I started last year from seed. We'll see if I get any blooms this year. It looks like I might. Look really close. It looks like I might get some blooms this year. And then these are all Red Haven peach tree seedlings that I transplanted. They had sprouted in the garden last year from peach pits. And I put them in this pot. And it overwintered. And you can see close, I've got new growth. So I got a bunch of Red Haven peach trees. I might repot those. Maybe try to sell them on Marketplace. We'll see. And then this is some garden phlox in this pot. I overwintered too. I'm going to try pinching this and see if I can keep it short. Because usually it grows about maybe 3-4 feet. And then this last one here is gooseberries. These are babies from the plant that I have in front. And I've got 2 here. Now, I know my girlfriend Danielle was so excited to see that I had gooseberries because I guess her grandfather used to pick them for her when she was a little girl. So if I get really ambitious, I might take this little one and pot it up and drop it off at her house. We'll see. This pot here has a tree that I transplanted from the side garden. And I don't know if it's dead. It didn't bloom last year, so we'll see what this is. I might end up having to throw that out and put it in the burn pile. But I've got some marigold seed and other things in this pot. We'll see what blooms around here. And then around my fire pit, I took a bunch of those old bricks that I had and lined the edges. So that's full, ready to burn again, but it's a little windy today, so I'm not going to do any burning. And today is April 13th in Connecticut. It's a little cold. It's only like 47 degrees outside. But in 3 weeks' time, it's going to be Cinco de Mayo, and I usually try to open my pool for Cinco de Mayo. So as you can see, that hose, I've got the water draining off some of the cover. Get ready to do that. Pull out the filter and clean that up. And it's a little cold yet still, so. But there's my peach tree, and it's blossoming. It looks so pretty. Pretty blooms. Let's get a little closer so you can see the blooms. Look at that. That was lovely. And the birds are coming back to life after all the rain we had. Hear them singing. Yeah, here's the brought me home last night. I don't want to get too close on it. It's kind of gross. bury that. I just threw it out in the garden last night because he brought it up on the back porch. Poor little bunny. Okay, and in this first bed that I did the garlic in last year, I have the cold frame on the top here because I've got a bunch of lettuce started underneath it. And then behind it, I have a trellis and all the little peas that I planted, all the edible peas, not the flowering peas, the edible peas in the back there to grow up the trellis. And this is all stuff that overwintered from last year. So I've got a hodgepodge in here. There's a kale plant. And that might be a weed I gotta pull. I gotta do some weeding too. And that's some claytonia. It's tiny. And that's a chamomile. And then over here I put all the little parsleys. Got a bunch of little parsleys that came back from last year. And another red veined sorrel. And then I just cleaned off this little sneaky side path. There's my little turtle. This bed is new this year. I just put this bed in. I just reused all that brick edging that I had. And then I decided to make it a keyhole. So I put a bunch of compost on the path there, and that's where I'm going to plant the tomatoes. So I have all the tomato cages all the way around. See? And then in the back here, I had a little bit of extra space, so I planted a row of spinach and a row of carrots. So that's what that board is the row of carrots. Because you need to put a board over it until they germinate. Otherwise, the birds come in and eat all the seed. And they like it dark under there. And then this bed I did last year. Those bricks. And that's where I planted my garlic. So this bed is all garlic over here. It's doing really well. My garlic's very happy. And then on the end is some Swiss chard that came back. And then I have a tomato cage there full of compost. It's already down quite a bit. As you can see, it's down about half from where I cleared out the beds. And that's another cage. This is a smaller one, more like for my peonies or my peppers. I gotta move that. But I planted all strawberries under this peach tree. And then over here is some asparagus that hasn't come up yet. It's a little early. There's some asparagus. Oh, look, there's the first one. See it? There's the first asparagus. So it's just starting. I have to pick that. There's another one coming up right next to it, see? But these are all strawberries I planted in here. There's the peach tree. And there's some chives. And that's a little black-eyed Susie. And that's a little comfrey. It's gardening season in Connecticut, and it's just begun, so Joey asks you to please subscribe.